Greetings, everyone. Goddess Nini here, and in this segment, I want to speak about utilizing the power of forgiveness to heal by being present. So, today, September 11th, in the Mayan astrology, is the day of the red cosmic dragon. And the tone for the red cosmic dragon is the tone of presence. And presence is an invisible force that forms the basis of all being. So, by being here and now in every moment of your life, you can experience the fullness of your being. And Tone 13 also teaches of the power of resilience to be no matter what. And but in order to be, so that you experience the fullness of being, you have to utilize the power of forgiveness. There's so many of us walking around with pain and hurt and guilt and resentment and just bitterness because of things that happened to us in our past. But forgiveness is a force that can transform your life because it heals the wounds and it liberates you from the burdens that you've been carrying around for so long. Sometimes we may ask ourselves, why do we continually or consistently go through the same or similar experiences where we're being triggered, where we are being angry for similar reasons? And a lot of times it's because those triggers are like, I wouldn't say red flags, but those triggers are hints that are telling you that there's something there that you need to heal from. And sometimes it may be something that causes you to exhibit an emotion that isn't positive. And when that happens, sometimes it's best to take a step back. Instead of responding or reacting so quickly, being impulsive, it is time to look at yourself and analyze and say, what is it that is triggering me? Because this work has to be done by you as an individual. No one can do it for you. And usually when people are triggered, what happens? You either say something that you don't mean, you do something that you didn't mean to do, and what you do or say is later going to become a regret, because now you have said something or did something that is going to impact someone else's life, and now they have something that they have to heal from. And so this is just a cycle, continuous cycle. And so the important thing is that each person has to take responsibility to do their own healing. A lot of times we find where people are pointing fingers. It's always somebody else's fault, or this is what happened, this is why, this is why I reacted, or all types of things that people say just to justify their behaviors. And a lot of times their behaviors are very inappropriate, they are hurtful, they are demeaning sometimes to people that are in their environment, family members, their own children, your co-workers, spouse, loved ones. And these things, they continue to just continue to tear families and friendships and relationships apart. And it doesn't have to, but it's going to take that each person become conscious of their decisions. And this is the revolution that is so spoken about in social media. And when they say that the revolution will not be televised, because this is a conscious revolution. We have to be mindful. We have to learn to be present, so that when we're present, then you won't react so quickly. You're going to stop and think before you say something to someone that's going to hurt them. Because what was said to you, if it hurt you, why would you repeat it to someone else? And I find a lot that when we don't heal from something because we didn't forgive that person that caused that hurt or that caused the emotion that we are experiencing or exhibiting that is attached to the experience that you have with that particular person, when we don't heal from that, we transfer those same or that same energy onto those that we say we love. And we can no longer continue with this vicious cycle. We have to be mindful of what was said to us. If your parents had said something or did something to you and you are still holding on to it because it is hurtful and painful, why would you perpetuate or why would you transfer that energy on to your children or someone else in your vicinity that you say that you love? So, how do we begin to identify when you have a trigger or when you have an emotion or something that needs to heal? Because you get angry for certain things that really doesn't require your anger. You entertain certain things that doesn't require your entertainment. You're resentful. You're bitter towards, someone or just. And a lot of times, the people that you are bitter or angry at, or that you have that experience, that emotion that is attached to that experience you have with that person, those people are no longer here. They have transitioned onto the spiritual realm, but you're still holding on to that. You're still holding on to whatever experience that happened. And some of us hold on to experiences that happened yesterday, the day before yesterday, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, a year ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago, and we're still holding on to that, harboring that experience and the emotion that is attached to it. And my question to you is, how is it serving you? Is it helping you or hurting you? Because that's a lot of weight. Because every time something happens to us and we don't heal from it, and we don't look at ourselves as to what did we or how did we participate in the event and just blaming other people, it is going to build up. It's going to build up and it's going to cause more pain. It's going to cause anxiety. It may cause depression. It is excessive stress on the body because your mind doesn't settle. Even when you're sleeping, you're thinking about all this stuff that happened to you. And it may not be easy at first, but when you begin to let it go and the weight begins to get lighter and lighter, you're going to feel better and you're going to understand that, okay, maybe I did my part in this experience too. And so therefore you're not just pointing fingers at the other person, but that too is going to require self-analysis. That's going to require that you spend time alone, off the phones, off of social media, just to yourself. And you may have to scream and cry, but guess what? It is worth it. Because I know that when I write letters and when I've written letters to forgive myself first and then to forgive people that I've had experiences with them and the experiences has brought pain and hurt to me. When I did that the first time, I can assure you, I felt an immediate weight that was lifted off of my shoulders, because it felt like I had a sense of freedom, because I was no longer afraid to face those people. I was no longer afraid to be in their vicinity because I knew that I had forgiven myself and I'd forgiven them. I don't care what they did or what they didn't do, but I did it for me. And I urge you to do it for yourself. To forgive yourself and to forgive those who have had experiences with you that has caused emotional or negative emotional pain and hurt that you are holding on to. Now, this emotional hurt and pain can also strain your relationships. And when I'm talking about relationships, whether it's your spouse, whether it's a loved one, your partner, your children, it will strain your relationship. And so when we don't heal from that, every aspect of our lives can be affected by our unforgiveness. Wouldn't you want to experience emotional freedom where you can release all the negativity that's been tied to you, where you can forgive yourself and be free and forgive those that have that were involved in the experience that caused this pain and hurt to you? Wouldn't you want to free yourself from those shackles of anger and resentment? Wouldn't you want improved mental well-being where you're living a life of self-love and self-care and you're able to share that with others? Don't you want your relationships to be strengthened and you mend relationships and have healthier interactions, better communication, reconciliation, rebuilding trust, and not just a relationship again with a male and female or with your partner, but families? There's a lot of families that need a lot of forgiveness and that need a lot of healing. You know, I was looking at a post the other day, and there was an image that someone shared, and there was like a lot of blankets on the floor, and it's the person wrote, "It's so sad that we grew up living this way, and now we're no longer speaking to each other." And I can relate to that because I remember when we used to lay on the floor when all the family was at the house and there were no more beds, and we would lay blankets and comforters on the floor to make it comfortable, and we're on the floor, our legs over here, everybody's just spread out on the floor. But now today we're no longer speaking to each other because of, to me, senseless things that have no business getting involved in a family relationship or friendship. But it does, because people are not thinking for themselves. People are thinking for them. And when people think for you, then you do things that cause division because you're following a particular path that all it does is creates division. Now, wouldn't you want for you to move forward? Because unforgiveness can definitely cause you to be stagnant in your life because you're stuck. You're stuck in the past. You're stuck with those feelings. You're stuck with those emotions. And you just can't move forward because every time you try to move forward, something happens. There's another experience that happens, and it triggers those past emotions and feelings and experiences, and then there you go again in a continuous cycle. But if you only take time to shift your perspective and see the situation from a different mindset, where you can empathize for yourself and you can choose forgiveness as a conscious choice and decide to let go of the pain and the resentment. And it's not for the other person, but it is for you. So how do you start to forgive yourself and others? It's very simple. Get paper and pencil and begin to write. Write down every experience that you've had that have hurt you and the name of the person or persons that were attached to that experience. And you write yourself a letter first for being part of that experience, and then you write a letter to each of those individuals. And if you have to write 30 letters, then you just have to write 30 letters. But remember, you are doing this for you. The power of forgiveness by being present. And being present is the power of life force. So I leave you with the Mayan Oracle motto of the day. I endure in order to nurture, transcending being. I seal the input of birth with the cosmic tone of presence. I am guided by the power of life force. Thank you for listening. Please like the video if this has helped you in any way. share the link with someone else. Don't forget to leave a comment below and subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, walk in your power,